Last time on the Great Ace Attorney.
Summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector.
Shit's fucked. Some strange fellow, purple jacket or something about a puzzle, or something about if you have a lion on one side of the shore and two chickens on the other. I don't know. It was quite a complicated mess, to be honest.
Taylor, come back.
Nippany.
Picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
Oh no!
Would you like to see Monsieur
No!
Lecoq?
I would like to formally apologize to the country of France. I mean, no offense.
They did not need to see this.
No, they did not need to hear this or anything.
Can you flip it open? Because presumably there should be knife on the blade,
The
right?
knife.
Knife.
There should be knife on the
There
blade.
should be.
Well done, Taylor.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo. Just at the tip.
The accused could easily have carried all three books in one hand. As you may have noticed, they were all paper thin. Complete utter trash. Monsieur Lecoq. It's just one page. It's a picture book with just one page.
It's a pop-up book.
No.
If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon
We
Books,
know.
then yes, he would have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at your books, he wouldn't have passed that location at all. That isn't the only conceivable route between the two places.
Shocking, I know.
He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection! That route is what's commonly referred to as the long way round. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Disillusion Plays the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, where we play the game and do the voices.
Yeah.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Taylor.
Yoss.
And just before we get in, if you like what we do, why don't you like, comment, and subscribe, and ring that notification bell.
Yeah. Now let's jump back in and see if we can remember what voices we do for these guys. Oh, that
I
took a
don't
long
know,
time
pal.
to load.
It's less of an issue with this one than it is for
Danganronpa.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, for sure.
Just
for sure.
do it some British accent of some kind. and
Vague,
we'll be
yeah,
fine.
just vaguely British, and you're there, like, because that's just every
Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury.
Oh no, not the Canadian judge.
The Canadian, which I would say check out our Trials and Tribulations videos, but at the same time, it's like maybe don't.
We we were sort of inspired to revisit the first videos that we'd done the other day, and
We have come on a little bit. A tiny bit. There's
just
a
a bit.
slight
a
change.
little bit.
Little bit.
Well, it's interesting because it's like when you look back at us when we were first doing it, it kind of. I think the weird thing about it was like we were complete strangers talking to each other for the first time a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it was a little awkward.
So
I mean, it's still awkward now, but you know.
So what I would
We at least act like we know each other.
Less awkward
just before
now.
we completely get off that section and get into this, I will say that if you do go back, get your bingo cards ready with the water bottle. Awkward silence.
Oh, the water bottle is amazing.
And,
Just unscrewing of lid in background, and Pete forgetting it's his line.
Innuendo. Cold Killer X.
Yeah.
I can't think of it anymore.
I
So
would
anyway.
I would say your outro, but you don't do it for very long.
No, well, I
so-
mean, surely. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, people came to see the Great Ace Attorney. Let's give it
Yeah,
to them.
sorry.
Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon the members, upon all members of the jury, to present your findings to the court. You're guilty.
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 Oh no, that's it. You're guilty.
Oh no.
Hang on a
Mr. Zacher, I believe we're going to have to boot.
Oh dear. It's like.
Hang on a minute, mate. You, Jack Doodah on the end. You haven't heard anything. You kept going, I didn't quite hear that.
Quite catch that,
Yeah. So you can't say guilty, so you can take
Well,
yours back.
I wouldn't know anything about that, but I would say they are guilty. Anyway,
We've got to do the consummation, supposition, flumidation.
Whoa, nobody's consummating
The
anything.
flummication, confusation.
Proclamation, declaration.
To the nation.
Anyway. It would appear the jury's leaning is unanimous.
Oh, bother. Oh, dear.
That's how I feel today, pal.
Me too.
Like most days, even.
That's me tomorrow morning at work.
To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably.
God save the Queen.
God save.
Oh, no. Don't go all patriotic on me. Mr. Naruhodo.
Call back later. I'm dead.
And then the clockwork lawyer will rise back up. Wait for it.
No, not yet. This isn't over
I
yet.
just love that he's still got his face to the desk.
I hope that when he stands up, there's like a big red mark
Yeah.
on his forehead from where he's leaning
Yes.
against
It's
the desk.
squashed. His
Yes.
face is just squashed.
Be like a nice little detail they've done.
I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury.
Clockwork lawyer? Look,
Yeah.
clockwork. So the way he sort of like moves his fingers like
Well,
that.
they'll have played the animation in reverse,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Animation is hard.
It does look really weird, though.
I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow.
Those are the eyes of Quarry, not yet willing to give up and die. So, I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago.
Call it antiquated if you will. But it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it...
Yes, you had it! Dang, you did it!
to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses.
Very well, counsel.
Summation examination.
Summation examination. Oh, yeah.
You did say it, though.
I had a lisp at the end and I was dissatisfied with it.
I forget that's something we could use for different voices. Like, if, in accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with a summation examination.
Oh.
I mean,
Summation examination, not a summonation.
summation. It does sound like I'm just
This is
being
going
horrible.
really
though.
well.
It does sound like I'm not trying to be horrible to people with lisps. I'm really sorry. Please forgive me.
Get out.
In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with a summation examination. I don't know why I paused. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his onkus refusal to throw in his alley.
They just made up words back then, didn't they?
I mean, they
Onkus,
really
blonkus, fronkus.
And throw in is alley? Throw in the towel is the phrase, but throw in this alley? What?
Very well, then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. Jum. Judicial findings.
A.
B.
Stop,
C.
Stop it. Just
Stop
because I struggle saying it as Susato
Judicial.
doesn't mean you can.
But you can say it now, so it's fine.
You say that, and I'm going to say it next now, and I'm going to get under pressure and mess it up.
The judicial assist. You can do it. I believe
You
in
pig.
you. You've got- Welcome to the bullying channel.
That hasn't changed.
For pity's sake, the little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he?
If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why, it could only have been the victim.
The man wouldn't have gone around the house on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter.
Oh, so the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? Oh, how dreadful.
No, you don't even know.
I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing. Although in this pose, it kind of looks like I'm getting ready to box.
Yeah.
Your books, yes. Nice shop, that. But bourbon books? No, not worth a visit.
I'll have you know that I quite like bourbon books. As I said, it contains a very particular category of book that it's hard to find elsewhere, because it's Victorian London, Britain, whatever.
It's a single. You mean books with only one page in? The picture books with one page in. We don't need to go in. We don't need to elaborate.
Aww.
We don't need to elaborate. I think we spent far too much time in the last episode elaborating on that.
Spoil.
With only minor exceptions, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear. When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself. Wait, is that... Did he just say... He just said that, didn't he? Cool.
Well, it's more like, and the accused himself admitted to blah, 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 blah.
Well, you're presuming that. And okay. I know, but why did it pause like that? That really threw me for a sec.
Dramatic effect. I don't know.
Has admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, if we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then... we have heard, not if we... Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already.
Oh dear. Even the judge appears to be convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now.
Little slump.
Why did he have to run away like that?
Because I'm a complete fool! No!
And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see?
The thing is, when you do that, is that nobody knows what the hell you're doing. Because it's just
That's
like...
why.
That's
why we have Editing Pete and his trusty assistant to tell him what it is.
It's like you're singing in Morse code, man! Like, for God's sake!
Dash, dot, dot, dash, dot.
This is impossible! How can I possibly make a case for the defense?
Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling.
I'm not grumbling, I'm panicking!
Don't you speak
Blind,
back to me.
furious panic!
If we want to force the trial to continue...
Yes, I know. I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them, at least.
Exactly. We have no choice but to forgive... forgive? Why was I going to say forgive? Forge... yeah, okay.
Have no choice but to seek forgiveness.
I just saw forge as forgive. Oh my god.
Like, come on, aside.
Jesus. We have no choice but to forge forward.
You have the floor, counsel. Begin your summation examination. And do try not to mess
Yes, my
it up.
lord. I make no promises.
Owie! The lip wiggle afterwards,
Yeah.
the little sort of it's so weird.
It's funny.
It's so weird.
I just need to keep this trial going somehow, whatever it takes. Come on, Ryunosuke, you can do it. I can?
Oh. Hello.
What's he doing up there?
For goodness sake, lad, will you sit back down?
Oh.
You're making a scene.
Gregson in the back.
Gregson's still here, by the
with
way.
his chips.
Your Honor, can I sit? I've got my chips still. You can see them.
I'm watching you, boy.
Oh, for pity's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he?
If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why, it could only have been the victim.
The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. Not in winter.
So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? Oh, how dreadful.
I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing. With my fists.
Your books, yes. Nice shot.
I feel like we need to press that one because
But-
I want clarification.
Bourbon books. No, not worth a visit. Wes.
Wes.
Sorry, fold it, you say? Fold what?
No. What I said was, hold it!
Sorry, like...
What I wanted to ask
need you
was,
to speak up,
do you
lad.
visit...
Could you speak up, please? I can't hear
Do
you.
you visit your books often?
Good Christ, man, you don't have to shout.
I'm not deaf.
I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea.
Old tea.
Old tea? Like tea that he sat out the night before or
That's
something?
my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question?
Well, I was picking out books in there all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily
Well, that's
routine, you
convenient.
see. Same thing every day, including the day you're talking about.
You just said that. Just before 5, you say. Exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time?
Oh yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry, not after the dreadful time I had.
Oh.
What do you mean?
Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and donked my head.
Aha!
So,
Isn't Calabash is the main drag thing, isn't it?
No,
like we have the thing,
Calabash
the
is...
thingy doodle.
Calabash is the one we
The
said
main
that he
drag.
would have took.
yes.
Yes. Right. Okay. Right. And so they're thinking he's
Slipped
gone
and
down along Briar Road.
Wait, weren't they saying that he went down Calabash and slipped
Yeah,
and bashed his
yeah.
head? That's
Yeah.
going to come and bite us in the
He
arse.
calabashed his head.
Because that's... For God's sake. That's going to bite us in the arse, isn't it? Because then they're going to say, oh, well, Mr. Natsume wouldn't have run down there because he'd have slipped and bonked his head. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know. Or he might have seen the guy.
It's always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's more slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. I thought my number was up.
Oh dear.
Oopsie.
I mean, he must have bonked his head.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road.
Calabash.
I said Calabash.
That's right. I live in Cornpipe, you see. Heading down the Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books.
Juror number 6, I must insist
Oh my goodness, you don't have to
that you
shout.
add that information to your formal statement. It may very well be extremely significant.
Sorry? Extremely sick? No, I'm quite alright now.
I feel you, pal. I feel you. It sends a shiver down my spine to hear the members of the jury so convicted of Mr. Natsume's guilt.
Well, I mean, not all of them are. I mean, like, that one guy's just like, oh, I just want to get the heck out of here. I don't
Yeah.
care about any of this.
But I can't help feeling that some of their opinions are rather subjective.
I agree. It's the irrelevance of what some of them are saying that sends a shiver down my spine. Body's aching all the time. Still, at least some of their assertions don't actually incriminate Mr. Natsume of anything. That's something.
We must use that to our advantage, Mr. Naruhodo. Cunningly.
Yes, you're right. Let's listen to the jurors again, carefully.
I guess that means we're pressing everything then.
Maybe.
Guess so.
And if any of their assertions are at odds, I'll pit them mercilessly against each other.
Yes, don't hold back. Pit them all against each other.
It's like,
I
all right, she
just
just
said that.
likes watching them all fight. I just
Fight,
so
fight,
let's
fight.
let's check on juror number 5 rather 6. Yeah, slipped over, knocked myself clean out. You know. Okay, and there's no the pitting, right? So they don't care. Oops. Man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back to the bookshop. Not in winter. All right.
Excuse me, but aren't you...
Yes, that's right. I was in the witness stand myself just 2 days ago.
Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face. Or the side of it, anyway.
Very funny, sir.
If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you?
You're a wanker. I mean banker.
Naughty.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. And it was all going swimmingly until you started fossicking around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute.
Sorry?
Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day.
Oh dear.
You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals.
Oh dear.
Oh, well, you know, water under the bridge.
Oh, why, you little... Now there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around, and the police have been badgering me non-stop.
If I could turn back the clock.
Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. And free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't.
Thank goodness. All right, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind, given our awkward history.
Oh dear. I wonder what's become of Mr. First now.
He has become the very thing that he sells. A hat.
A hat.
He's been made into a hat.
He's the Mad Hatter now.
He is the man. Okay. Time to do a whole Welsh accent for
Oh God. It's terrible.
You're right that at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green... Wait.
Oh my God,
has he seen the guy?
That's juror number 6 has a green overcoat.
Oh, and
He slipped on Calabash Road.
Oh, dude.
Well, I think we needed to do it anyway, because now we can pit her statement against his.
Yeah.
The defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him.
Well, quite. That's precisely my point. Clearly, that someone wearing green was the victim.
Oh, there we go. I mean, they are really emphasizing it now.
And clearly, that funny little Nipponese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit.
But let us not forget, madam, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman.
Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward. Honestly, claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes.
But if that's a lie as you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible?
Oh, I really couldn't say.
Which all you gotta do is you gotta call the emergency meeting on your own body, so that when all of the other crewmates gather together, you have plausible deniability. It's just basic Among Us strategy.
What?
Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through that funny...
Oh dear. Strange noise.
After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds?
Ah, yes.
Racism.
Yeah. Casual racism.
Great.
I could tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it because it involves a lot of insults and expletives.
And maybe a knife.
I do declare.
I do declare, miss.
Miss Juror number 2. I do declare the man has already made the admission.
What were the overheard words said by the Nazi?
You might say that in this case, there was someone with their knives out.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Because that was how she got stabbed.
Well, yeah.
Well, yes.
He himself has stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could have possibly have committed this awful crime. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit.
Oh my, you are too kind, my lord.
That went well. For her.
Shall we? You know what? Hang on. Let's do the old safety save. Let's play. We've got to play Phoenix Wright, the Great Ace Attorney correctly. But should we just be like...
I beg your pardon, who's Phoenix?
Right, so let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh! Objection!
Oh, wait!
Those two statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning.
A flaw? What are you talking about, counsel?
Well, juror number two. Juror number 6.
All right.
My, whatever do you mean, sir? And I didn't hear anything, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, my beard is so delightfully soft. It feels so...
He does look like Santa
It's
Claus.
like
Yeah,
a
it
little
is.
wee fluffy cloud. It's so soft. Oh, I just want to rub it gently. And no, Sarah, why did you have to
All right.
hurt the beard? It's a beard.
Now you've gone and made it weird.
I just like caressing my beard, all right? Just will you please stop? Don't deny this old man the wee comfort of caressing his beard, his own beard. Come on, man. Aye, kids these days.
Anywho. I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you.
Well, he was really invested in stroking his beard.
Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. There is at least one fact of which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot.
You're right, Sarah.
It's just a stupid random little thought popped in my head of like when he's walking up and down, if the katana went on the railings when he's trying to be serious.
Excuse me, Mr. Naruhodo, can I ask you to take a step back from the podium while you're walking? You're causing an awful
It's
clamor.
wood, isn't it? So it'd be like...
Yeah.
like...
I'm sorry, it was just like, oh dear.
So strange.
Oh, my brain, it's gone off. But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey.
That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes.
Yes, we are all oh my God. Yes, we are all well aware of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection! Can we really be sure of that, madam?
My, whatever do you mean?
I'm sure you heard juror number 6's account of what happened to him that day.
Oh, it was a terrible day.
That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim, who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood.
Oh my.
It's a good show that the people who live in this area just happened to be selected for this jury, or it would be really, really difficult to make a compelling case. My goodness, you mean? That's right. I'm referring, of course,
Whoa!
to hard of hearing juror number 6.
Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman on the end of the bench here with me today?
That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man.
Beard. Oh, I do like this beard. Oh my God, it does look like him.
Has a somewhat similar build to the victim.
I mean...
And the same hat.
Yeah.
Well, look at that.
My goodness me.
Sorry, you need a pee?
Did that before we started recording. And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell.
On Calabash Road.
Therefore, if the person who Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodgings. And if that's true, then clearly
The crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home.
Oh, my!
Oh my...
That was a weird... She was like, oh my goodness.
You idiot old man! If you hadn't been so daft as to be roaming around there, we'd have boxed this off hours ago.
Ha, box.
And really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat?
What did you say to me?
Oh dear.
What did you say to me? Is it a...
You can talk about my beard all you want,
Is it a...
but my coat?
Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days, Is it a crime to slip over on the ice?
Oh dear.
Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it?
Hold it!
Hold it. Oh, just need to powder my nose. My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but...
You would like to change your leaning, I presume? Excuse me. Yes, that's better.
I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty.
Thank you!
And I would too. I forgot the voice. It's like Scottish. No, I know. It's just like, and I would too. There we go. It just kind of like left me.
What?
Is it a crime to change your mind, is it? Well.
Arrest me then. See if I care.
Lock me up and throw away the key. It amuses me that the chair behind them changes colour too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. That was wonderful.
Well, we've managed to change a couple of minds at least. Literally a couple. It strengthened our position somewhat.
Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well.
Or so
No,
we think.
well, I think he's guilty. I think he should hang.
And then it just ends up like they convince the others to go back to, no, he is guilty.
They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if only we could identify one more clue of discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume. We might be able to tip the balance completely.
Yes, that's exactly what we've got to do. Van Zieks is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. I'm quite enjoying my wine.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of throwing my boot angrily at the head of the defense attorney across
A boot to the head, you say?
That's what we have to prevent, by whatever means we have at our disposal.
Boot to the head. Thank you, counsel. On with the summation examination, please.
Yes, my lord.
Okay. Well, we've talked to him, we've talked to her. I guess. I mean, couldn't have gone around the houses.
Hello. But you can't deny that there are other routes Mr. Natsume could have taken back from your books. Oh, yes. Like you drew on the map, you mean? What was it? Calabash Road or something? Precisely. But it seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not. Did you not just hear that whole thing about the old man tripping on Calabash Road not but 2 seconds ago? Well, yes, that's true. And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there?
No, I suppose.
Well, yes, that's
I suppose
true as
establishing
well.
what we did doesn't actually prove anything.
And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he?
Oh, you cocky little
Well,
Jezebel, you.
yes. That's annoyingly true. Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you'd want to get home as quickly as possible. Well, yes. Why is all this true? So, really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road. Ah, I'm supposed to be convincing you here. Oh, have given it a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim that he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reason why I might have gone the Calabash Road way, it'd be different. I'll be happy to reconsider my position in that case. I'll say very strongly hinting at the very line of thing you need to do in order to convince me otherwise. Honest, I would.
Does it have to be with Mrs. Garadeb with the smoke? Do you think that's why? Because they had the fire.
Oh, maybe.
Would it spook him?
Reason why Soseki-san might have taken the longer way home.
Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one.
Just the soft sound of her
Yeah.
smacking her cheek.
Uh-oh. Whatever is the matter, young man?
I know you, don't I? You're the wife of Mr. Garadeb, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsume his room.
The master's wife? Where do you get your ideas, sir? I'm the maid. The maid, you understand?
Excuse me there, boy. Would you please not go spreading around these rumors? They do terrible things to a man's image, you know. If you could refrain, it would be appreciated.
Oh,
Thank-
shut up, you silly old
Oh,
fart.
God, no. How dare you speak
I'll
to your
give you a
master?
thrashing when I get home,
Who let
Mr.
a
Garadeb.
moon into the courtroom?
How dare you speak to your master that way?
Oh, shut
I'll
it.
give you 10 lashings for speaking that way.
I'd like to see you try.
Oh, you wait till we get home.
I'll show you a fig or two.
It's like very rambunctious to be his mate.
Mrs. Adho, do you believe that this is them fighting or is it foreplay? Either way, I'm a little terrified.
Well, I mean, the British culture is very different to ours, Mr. Naruhodo. I think this might be true love.
True love. Yeah.
I think this is what happens when British people get married.
She's keeping up that charade. Ugh, this is going to be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That you'd been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean.
Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice.
I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant, takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he?
Yes, that's right. Although he's only been in a little over a week now.
And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who would commit a crime such as this?
Oh my goodness me, yes. He's just the sort.
Oh, bother, that wasn't... What?
Spending all his time in that dark and dingy room, sporting that unscrupulous moustache. The man never speaks. And don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbours are talking about him.
I'm beginning to think this line of questioning might have been a mistake.
I've heard him, you know.
No, just the next bit.
Oh, shit. Oops. I've heard him, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something. Jesus Christ. Like, racism. Oh, dear. Poor Mr. Natsume. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm. Nothing more.
Well, you just called him a worm, so... Anyway, I'd better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She's said enough damning things.
What?
Naughty language.
You can say damning.
She said enough damning things already.
Just perhaps not say the more expletive thing. Okay, let's talk to him.
A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so is my family's. The likes of you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat.
and neither do the wife and kids.
Oh, I see. That must be very hard.
I go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right, and Santra.
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 Taylor, come on.
They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's a hard slog from dawn till dusk, it is.
So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you?
That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just round the corner from where it all happened. By that old bookshop it was.
What? Another coincidence? My goodness.
That's right. Meerschaum Street, I think it was.
So
There we
if
go.
it's blocked Briar Road off, it's going to have to go the long way around.
Yep. Boo.
Aha, the reason for why he took the long way home.
There we
shit.
go.
Meerschaum Street? Well, that just sounds like a preposterous
On the
name.
map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets.
Mrs. Hatter, did you not see me just pull up the map to check it?
Just saying.
Juror number 5. I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please.
What's the point in that? Can't we just get this business over with now? I just told you I'm gonna starve if I don't go and work.
Please, sir, it's important.
Fine, I'll do it then.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
On the day it happened, I was digging up Meerschaum Street from dawn till dusk.
And now it's
Yeah,
Taylor
shit.
talking to himself.
Even more.
Even more so.
Oh,
Those two statements are clearly at odds with
he
one
doesn't look
another.
very happy about that.
No, he doesn't.
It's like his eyes are bulging.
Ooh.
At odds, counsel. Explain yourself.
Gladly. Please, don't point. It wasn't me, I'll swear.
Oh.
Huh? What? I just want to get this done and dusted.
Well, juror number 3? Oh, me, sir? What do you mean? Clack, 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 clack. Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of second-hand books. Although this looks more like Professor Layton. And on the same day, we now know that there were works being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it impassable. Which means that the defendant's route home,
Wah, wah.
Egads!
could not have taken him along Meerschaum Street and down Briar Road. Oh, yes, of course. What do you think,
Where
sir?
did his nose go?
Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? We must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way.
So the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have.
I suppose that must be right, eh?
Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. But we see now that he had no choice. Yes! My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, if I may.
Yes?
I don't think in all good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now.
Conscience.
Conscience.
Conscience. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened.
Really? Are you being serious right now? I'm gonna starve, man. You doggone git.
Boink.
Dunk.
What about you, sir? Who, me? Well, all right then. If there's a hole in the prosecution's argument, it should be filled in. That's what I say.
Boom.
Bop.
Bada bing, bada boom.
If there's a hole to be filled, it's got to get filled in. That's one of my rules.
Yeah, because he works on the road.
Oh, well, that summation examination has concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. I do find myself amused that Mr. Baron von Zieks does not perform summation examinations of his own. When things...
Well, he's a prosecutor, not a
I
defense.
suppose they're not allowed to... Oh, I suppose it makes sense, actually.
No, it's for
Whoops.
the defense
Whoops.
only, Pete. They established that in the
Excuse
law.
me, I think you'll find that this is the judge, not Pete. This is me being a bit silly. Pete didn't think this at all. It's totally fine.
My lord.
Yes. Yes.
Pay attention.
Well, you know, my glasses had perhaps slipped down my nose just a little bit, and I was a little bit struggling, and, well, you know, the telly's on, and I really, really wanted to have some fish and chips, but I was... Anyway...
Not taking my chips.
You'll take my chips over my cold, dead body frozen to the pavement like that man I still have investigating the crime scene.
Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. The eye is 2, the nose 4. So the nose have it. Not guilty, they say. Which means we no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue. Objection!
No, not you again. Watch out, members of the gallery, he might throw the glass. No.
Could it seem churlish of me to drink from my hallowed chalice moments after raising an objection?
I love the idea. It's like, objection.
Only to crush it in disgust. Pray forgive the discourtesy.
You know, mate, you could just put it down like normal people.
But what will I do with all of these glasses I've brought with me?
It's just got containers stacked in
No,
the
it's
back.
like it's a whole travel
When I
case.
placed the Amazon order, I accidentally ordered 1,000 when I only meant to get 100. I have to get them out of my house somehow. They're taking up a great deal of space.
Taylor, he
Came by carrier pigeon.
No. He placed the Sherwood Forest order.
The Sherwood Forest order?
Yeah, well, because it's a big forest in England, isn't it? It's not the Amazon. For God's sake, Amazon rainforest.
Okay. What?
This is why I shouldn't tell jokes, should I? I should just like.
No, I'm just going to go back to
got the
bed.
joke.
It's all right. Ignore me.
Thank you, Taylor.
Lord Van Zieks?
It seems I must retract my earlier remark.
That I'm Nipponese?
Oh, no.
What do you mean?
I mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful.
Oh, dear.
Well, that's a bit rude, isn't it?
On your bingo card, water bottle.
Pete, we're supposed to be professionals now.
Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer.
I mean, the thing is, he's getting into character, right? Because it's like, you know, Lord Van Zieks raised an objection and then paused to drink something. And then it became Pete's line, and then he also paused.
Absolutely.
Get into character.
Yeah?
Whatever do you mean?
Objection! I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth.
Indeed. Stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road, as he claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you had excavated, sir?
That's right. Took me the whole day and they paid me a measly tuppence for it.
I honestly couldn't care less about your wage. Now, my learned Nipponese friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance the 2 yards represents? Represents.
Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue. No. Mr. Zato, what does your book say?
There.
2 yards is a little less than 2 meters.
I mean, the guy...
Well, that's equally
The
useless.
guy did just say... For God's sake, Taylor. The guy did just say, though, that, like, people had to be turned round and sent back the other way.
Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all.
In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Come
aye.
Would you not agree, my stalwart friend?
Look, I didn't see anyone jumping over any holes. Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no. What?
And did you, perchance, erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your works?
I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time.
Ah, health and safety.
Health and safety, what was that back then?
Well, that's true.
No coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway, and we just turn any gentlefolk back when they come. Kids just jump right over us all the time. I try to hit them with the shovel, but I usually
The
miss.
accused is no gentleman as far as I can see.
Oh, rude.
I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings around town.
Oh yes, with a book in his face, he managed to jump across the hole and not
Well, didn't
fall
they also
and
say
knock
it's
himself
snowy,
out.
though? The guy, the old
Yeah,
man
he
fell on his
slipped.
face. Like, you'd think he'd have slipped if he jumped over.
Yeah. That or his bloody Belle from Beauty and the Beast who can just walk through town with her nose in a book and not walk into anything.
So I'm like, where are you going with this?
Is that true? Is it?
The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There can be no doubt on his way back to his lodgings. Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road.
unless he slipped and fell.
Crushed in a single sentence.
And, old man. Cold man? You can talk. No, you can talk.
Yeah.
You say that around 5 o'clock on the day in question, you slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Pray, was there a suspicious-looking Nippony?
Well, he knocked himself out, didn't he?
Yeah, so he wouldn't know.
Is behind you at the time? Oh, I can't say as I remember. I can't say as I remember.
You don't remember?
How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw? But I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it.
And now we end the episode how we started. Inosuke's head on the desk.
Order! Order! Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself.
My lord,
If you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve, trenchant,
I don't know how he's...
why in the world did you not proffer it during the summation examination?
I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. But my hospitality has its limits, and they have been reached, I feel.
Oh. Oh! Oh my goodness. Oh, hello.
So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over.
Hi.
What? What are you talking about?
It's time I show you my medals. My lord. The prosecution requests permission to call its next witnesses to the stand. Witnesses.
Yeah,
This will be
witnesses.
Mr. Garadeb, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Do you think?
Granted. Bailiff, bring forth the witnesses. Please, quick, hurry, hurry, hurry.
It's next witnesses?
Mr. Naruhodo, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident.
But at least one of them will have been in a room filled with smoke while they supposedly saw the crime being taking place.
Yes, I remember. One of them being a Scotland Yard
they said there was a
policeman, no
couple,
less.
wasn't there, walking down the street? Was it with Mr. Garrett? I think. I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness.
All right. No matter who Van Ziek brings to the no matter who Van Ziek brings to the stand as his witnesses, and no matter what they say, I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent. And I'll keep believing to the very end, until this battle is over.
No, it couldn't possibly be. Just like, I guess he did it. Ha! Oh my goodness.
Oh, she's very pretty, isn't she?
Oh my goodness. Oh, isn't she delightful?
Witness. Please state your names and occupations for the
Witness
court.
as
Witness. I thought I. Okay. Witnesses. Please state your names and occupations for the court.
Nom, nom,
Nom, nom, nom.
He's chewing
yeah.
on his helmet strap.
Constable Rowley Beat, sir.
Oh, Rowley
Nothing to report on the street, sir. Oh.
And I'm Mrs. Beat. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town hero's wife.
Oh, don't be like that. You don't need to say that.
what's the story here?
Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day.
No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired.
Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honourable occupation, patrolling the beat. Whilst being an honourable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world.
Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before,
Even
actually.
more than suffering listening to your babble. Oh, indeed. Apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that meters are reading true. And they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our streetlights.
There are a number of items on that list that don't sound much like policing duties at all.
I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet. I'd have collapsed long ago.
But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. For the London Bobby is a man of honour.
And a man of slumber.
On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction, and they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat?
That's right, sir. Isn't it, Rowley? Rowley!
Constable Rowley Beat, sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir.
Oh boy.
I get the feeling he's a couple of chips short of a meal. What a great witness he's going to be.
Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Boom.
I don't know what I'm doing with this voice. It's like getting weirder. But just more and more inconsistent.
Oh,
It was our wedding anniversary, and Rolly was taking me out for a meal.
oh, local Weatherspoons, yeah.
There was no time to change after work.
Yeah.
Anyway, 2 silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us.
Oh, it's true, yeah. Yeah, they were.
All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor, and then the other scattered something before running off.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird little picture books, wasn't
Her
it?
eyes are so
I
shiny.
know.
Weird picture books, wasn't it? Yeah.
We ran straight over, of course, and then went for help at a nearby police box.
Well, I mean, I tried to go over, but my legs were a bit tired, so I had to kind of like meander over. But yeah.
It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Rolly and I saw him clear as day.
No, it's true. They're quite distinct, the Japanese, aren't they? Definitely quite different to us British folk.
Oh, well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say.
Oh, bother.
Oh dear. This policeman and his wife are claiming to have positively identified Mr. Natsume at the scene. If their testimony is true, the alternative course of events that you established in the summation examination will be quashed, rather.
It's death knell, in fact. Because that alternative was never viable in the first place.
But yes, thank you, Lord Van Zeek. Calm yourself. I don't know what you're laughing about, because we're out of time, mate.
Oh no!
Yes,
Does that mean I can go back for a sleepy?
oh boy, I love it.
Can I have a little sleepy now?
Little
then? Oh, good. So,
Anyway. Go on. I can't.
So yeah, if you somehow enjoy what we do, why don't you hit that like button, drop a comment down below and let us know how we got on, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified of our new uploads every Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And with that, we're gonna be clearing off, pals, so see you in the next one.
See you later, guys.
Take care, everyone. And don't slip on Calabash Road and knock yourself out. It's not going to be good for your long-term memory.